Hey, Seth David here with the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, bringing to you another special screencast. This time we're talking about how to step up your business professionalism by using something like G Suite to run your business. Running your business with G Suite. It's 2020. Welcome to the cloud. For years ago, that's all you heard. Oh, you got to go to the cloud, go to the cloud. And a lot of people don't even realize it today that they're actually in the cloud already. They've been in the cloud for many years. Your bank account's in the cloud, your payroll's in the cloud, everything's in the cloud in some way, shape, or form, somewhere. So, it sounds funny to hear me say in 2020, welcome to the cloud, but welcome to the cloud. Now let's get down to business here. Why G Suite? Well, the quick and simple answer is lightning fast collaboration. Now, you either work with a team or you work with clients or both, right? And more recently, especially, you may have even been forced to work remotely, even if that wasn't your choice before. But if you're using the right tools, there's a very good possibility that you're now thinking, I don't want to go back to the old way even when I can, right? Because especially if you're using the right tools, and that's the important qualifier, you're probably starting to see how you can work from the comfort of your own home, work more efficiently in many respects, without all the distractions of being in a workplace with coworkers who are going to come over and have, water cooler talk. Of course, and I'm not discounting that there's benefits to doing things in person with people, but the bottom line is a lot of people like myself have been doing this for 10 or more years, and we've found lots of benefits to working at home, especially when you learn to use tools like G Suite to help you get along and get things done more efficiently, more effectively, and with greater accuracy than ever before. Now, there's a number of main things. I could do hours worth of presentations on all the different aspects of what it means to run your business with G Suite, with Google, but I'm just going to focus on some of the highlights today, and then of course look around. You know where to find me on the web, and look out for lots of other presentations and things that I do that I periodically will do on G Suite because I love it so much, because I've been running my own business on G Suite long before it was called G Suite. So let's take a look at my screen. I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, and of course, if you're using Google's product like G Suite, then you'll want to be using everything in Chrome. Here's a good example of why. If I want to get into a spreadsheet, sheets.new, and in 2 seconds, I'm blazing through a Google spreadsheet. More on that in a couple of minutes. If I want to get a regular document up, docs.new, and in seconds, I'm working in a Google document. Okay, if I want to do a presentation, slides.new. If I want to create a form that I can embed on my website to capture important information from clients that I'm working with remotely, then I might do forms.new, right? And I can start building forms using Google's own Forms product. Now, when you're working with Google in Google Docs, which is what this is, of course, and you start any of these formats, you're working in the cloud, you're working in a streamed file service. So we all know what it means to stream videos on things like Netflix, right? Well, with Google Drive, you're streaming your files. In other words, the files aren't living on your computer. When you're accessing them, they're temporarily streaming down to your computer, but as soon as you're done, they're back in the cloud. So it's not like what you're accustomed to with, let's say, things like Dropbox, where the files are actually synced to your computer, and they're synced between your computer and the cloud. This is a little different. This is a little faster. Most importantly, it doesn't take up any space on your hard drive, right? Now, I also want to show you a very current example of something really cool that I'm able to do in Google Docs as I'm developing a program for my Bulletproof Bookkeeping course. For the people who recently signed up for my bonus program, I'm developing the outline for the 6 weekly lessons that I'm going to be doing for the students right in Google Docs. As you can see, it's got this beautifully laid out outline. And of course, because this is a document that lives in the cloud, it's very easy to link to it. But maybe more importantly in this case, it's very easy to link to other documents in the Google universe, so to speak. So for example, here, I'm giving them an onboarding swipe file. Notice as I move my mouse over, because Google recognizes its own format, it gives me a really cool preview. And of course, I can click over, and it takes me to yet another Google Doc that I'm giving them a swipe file that they can use to send instructions to their clients on how to add an accounting user, right? Let's go down to another really cool example of a spreadsheet that I did as part of this. I'm just looking for it. Here, I've created a little sales pipeline worksheet. So again, this is for somebody who doesn't need or care to have a whole full-fledged CRM. But you can see you can design some pretty slick stuff in Google Sheets. And obviously, as you just saw, it's very easy to link between the two, right? And I can go over here, and there's a call log. And as soon as I start typing, I've set up a drop-down. Some pretty sophisticated stuff you can do. Then it looks up their name and phone number. And of course, I can make comments. And as I gave an example of here, I can add notes to cells just like you can in Excel. Speaking of Excel versus versus Google Sheets in the cloud. So not long ago, I had a conversation with some colleagues of mine because I was shocked when I went in to work in an Excel spreadsheet in the cloud version. So this is Excel running in your browser just like Google Sheets does. And I couldn't believe, as you're seeing on my screen now, what I discovered, that there are a lot of Excel keyboard shortcuts that a lot of us, sort of hardcore Excel users, as I was for many years, got used to using. They're not there in the cloud version of Excel. I couldn't believe it. And they are there in Google Sheets. Google was smart enough to build those legacy keyboard shortcuts that they knew a lot of us were used to when we were using Excel. They've built them into Google Sheets. So I have more of Excel's functionality in Google Sheets than I do in the cloud version of Excel. Kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but it is what it is. Google also has Google Keep, which is a really cool note-taking. Think of it as kind of sticky notes on steroid kind of app. I don't actually use it right now for Bulletproof Bookkeeping, but I just kind of put this here as an example where I can easily just on the fly take a note. And by the way, all of these formats work beautifully on any mobile app, whether it's iOS or Android, doesn't matter. Works beautifully, same seamless integration. It's so easy to share documents. And check out what you can do with Google Slides, which is not nearly as easy to do, let's put it that way, with a PowerPoint presentation. But if I go to File and I go to Publish on the Web, because remember, this is a format that lives on the web, I can go to Embed, I can choose Publish. It confirms that I'm sure. And now I have embed code that I can easily copy and paste into a web page on my website, so I can embed this entire presentation in my website. And notice I have options here where I can have it automatically advanced. So when people come to my website, I can just have them walk through some presentation that I've done that I've, let's say, pre-recorded using Google Slides. So really, really powerful collaboration capabilities. It just cuts down on any kind of friction. It makes life so easy when you're trying to work remotely with people, which is so important, more so in this day and age than ever before. So real quick, I also want to look at the domain management piece of what G Suite actually offers, because a lot of people don't realize that this is included. So if I go here, let's go to my G Suite admin console. Okay, and what this is again, it's complete domain management. So you're taking your domain, like I have nerdenterprises.com, and you're managing the whole thing, including email, of course, with G Suite. So you're using the Gmail client. I use the Gmail client to send and receive email for nerdenterprises.com emails. Okay. Again, really easy, cloud-based email. My integration with ClickUp, my beloved ClickUp, works beautifully because when I can pick things off of email and add it in as a task in ClickUp directly off the email, and it creates a link, a reference back to that email. So I can file the email, forget about it, do what I need to do, follow up, take notes, everything I need to do in ClickUp. And then when the time comes, if I do need to send a reply, and I want to reply to that email specifically so it keeps the conversation in context, then from the ClickUp task that I created from the email, I can click right back to that email, hit the reply button, and do whatever follow-ups I need to do. So again, the email integration is super slick in terms of the collaborative capabilities. Now, here I have users. Now, here's the thing. If you've ever tried to add a user on a Microsoft Exchange server, it's a nightmare, right? Every time I've ever had to do this, I've had clients over the years who've wanted to add me. They give me the information, the server name, all this stuff. I go and enter it exactly as they gave it to me. Never works. Never works on the first time around. Almost always we have to call their IT guy, who has to then look into it, figure out. They never explain to you what the issue is. I've never had it explained to me, and I'm pretty good at understanding these things. All I know is a week or so later, and I see this because I do the accounting usually, we get a bill from the IT guy for like $150. And yeah, they'll get it to work with some trouble and some back and forth. And after they blame it on the computer or whatever else they blame it on until they finally get it sorted out. Whereas here, if I want to add a user, it's as easy as clicking in here. All I need is an existing email address for the person. And I put that in, send them an invite. And in less than 30 seconds from when they get that email, they just create a login. Their username, of course, their email address. So they create a password and they're off and running and using Gmail's client on my domain at nerdenterprises.com. Couldn't be easier. Never had to call an IT guy to get that set up. Groups is a really cool feature, only available in G Suite. It's not going to be available in free Gmail because it leverages your domain name and gives you a way of creating distribution groups. So I can create emails at nerdenterprises.com for different services and then have those redistribute to myself, the bookkeeper who may be working on that client, and anybody else who's concerned, maybe the client themselves. So really, really cool way to create distribution lists that look and act and function like an email address. Lots of other cool things here. Security is unbelievable with this. I can go into the devices. Each of my users can register their devices, their mobile device, their tablet, with my domain name if they want to use if they want to use that device to access the email and Google Docs and everything else. And if they should happen to lose it, all they have to do is let me know, hey, I lost my phone, somebody stole my phone, and I can go in here and I can remotely wipe their device so that my data is protected and secure. Nobody's going to get access to that data. Anybody happens to even get into their phone or their device, the second they do and it connects to the internet, that's going to remotely wipe everything on that device that was sort of subject to the nerdenterprises.com domain policies. So all kinds of things, obviously lots and lots of apps you can add in, data migration if you need that from your existing setup, like say Exchange, all kinds of stuff. And of course, very straightforward billing, not to mention expedited support. If I need support, I go into support, they give me a little code and I get a phone call or I enter that. I forget exactly how it works because I've so rarely need support, but I can basically get a code to use, call support, that's what it is, and then I enter my code. And in a few minutes, I'm speaking with somebody who's not reading off some script. They're actually listening to me, giving me the help that I need. I've never had to spend, on the few occasions that I've had to call support, never had to spend more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes getting straight to the solutions, the answers that I needed, and then I'm off and on my way, running without having to wait in a support loop that can drag on for days and days with other setups and services that I've seen. That, my friends, is your quick 2 cents or 10 cents worth on stepping up your business professionalism using G Suite for complete domain management, running your business with G Suite. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, feedback, anything, you know how to find me. I'm very easy to find on the internet. Seth David, Nerd Enterprises, search for either one of those. You're bound to find me. Ask me your questions. I'd love to have them, and I love to get you the answers that you're looking for. Sometimes it may not be the answer you're looking for, but it'll be the truth. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. As always, I hope you learned something here, had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.